Mr. President, how much advance notice did you have of the FBI's plan to search Mar-A-Lago?
I didn't have any advance notice. None. Zero. Not one single bit. Thank you.
Mr. President. Is this real life?
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you're having a great day so far. Just had a couple quick news items I wanted to go over with you. I'll have a video later on today, but just wanted to update everybody with the Trump Mar-A-Lago raid and the affidavit and a couple other items as well. Looks like the Justice Department has submitted the redactions to the judge, so we'll take a look at that. Still have some updates there. Looks like some political Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene was swatted twice in the last 2 days. I'll break that down. Over in Britain, there was now some issues with the energy policies going on over there, and small businesses are now being affected. We'll break that down. The Uvalde Police Chief, Pete Arredondo, was now fired, and we'll break that down too. And some updates with Twitter and Elon Musk and the whole saga with that going on, and the trial that's going on between Twitter and Elon. And now Jack Dorsey has been sucked into this as well. He's been subpoenaed, and we'll go over that too. My name is Brian Barsoon. I upload YouTube videos daily. You can find me on Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and True Social as well. And let's jump right into the news. So this first story is from a couple of days ago. It has to do with the Trump Mar-A-Lago raid. This is with Judge Bruce Reinhart, who ruled that due to the public and historical interest of the story and the raid, that he rejected President Biden administration's bid to keep the Mar-A-Lago search affidavit sealed. So originally the administration wanted to keep the affidavit completely sealed and not open to the public. Therefore, we would have no information on that. Now, however, that he has ruled that is not the case, and now, like I said before earlier at the top, that some of that is going to be submitted. Now, some of it will be redacted. We'll see how much is redacted in that story. But for now, it's been submitted. There was a 12 p.m. noon deadline for that. It's been submitted, so now we'll see how long it takes for the judge to send that information back out, because he has to review it. Moving on here, let's take a look. This is from a similar story to the whole Mar-A-Lago raid, but this was from a couple of years ago. So the Department of Justice releases memo justifying not prosecuting Trump on obstruction charges. So just breaking it down briefly, in May 2021, the Department of Justice released a heavily redacted memo that had not been used by former Attorney General William Barr 2 years prior to justify his decision not to bring charges against then President Trump for obstruction of justice. So originally, there were 6 of the 9 pages were redacted from this. Now, a district county circuit court and the judge ruled that it has to be completely released, and they went ahead and released that. So it's 9 pages long, and just to give you a summation of that, so the pair wrote that the evidence in the report was not sufficient to support a conclusion beyond a reasonable doubt that the president violated the obstruction of justice statutes, nor that he sought to conceal evidence of criminal conduct or provide false evidence to investigators. So that's what the DOJ was arguing before, that he was obstructing in the case, but they have now ruled that's not so, and that's why they completely released all of the 9 pages for that. And moving on here, this is the story I led with at the top, with the Justice Department submits proposal under seal for redacting the Mar-A-Lago search warrant affidavit. It's from CNN. Fox News is also reporting on it as well. So we'll take a look at both here. So Justice Department has submitted under seal its proposal for redacting the Mar-A-Lago search warrant affidavit. And let's see here. So there was an order last week that was submitted that they had until today, August 25th at 12 noon to submit that, and they've just done that. So now it's currently being reviewed. Any updates to that, I'll let you guys know later on in the day if that gets released. There's no timeline on that, so could be later today or Friday. We'll see, hopefully by the end of this week. Just to see Fox's, so we have some parity and some, so you can see both sides here. DOJ submits proposed Trump raid affidavit, redactions to judge. U.S. government appeared to file proposed redactions to the sworn affidavit. Court docket notes a filing by the Department of Justice under seal, and they had that noon deadline, like I mentioned before. So moving on now to another story. This has to do with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was swatted twice in 2 days at her home in Rome, Georgia. Obviously, I'm going to try not to release any of that information here as to what was going on with that, but just to give you the quick version, it's being reported that it was a trans rights activist, at least the first time that called in the swatting. If you're not familiar what a swatting is, when you call in a fake police report and accuse the said party of making a criminal act. So then the police is forced to respond in full force, a lot of times with the SWAT team, hence the term swatting. And their intention is to cause harm to the said person. So this is in response to, here, let's take a look at what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. Swatted again last night. And this was from this morning that she tweeted this. So that was the 24th and the 23rd of this week that she was swatted. But she does go on to praise the Rome Police Department for their quick response and being civil about it. Obviously, she's a person of public interest, so they probably were aware of maybe similar threats, not like this, but in the past. Last night I was swatted just after 1 a.m. And she's expressed gratitude. More details to come. And here's some explanation here. And this is from timcast.com. The suspect explained that they were upset about Miss Green's stance on transgender youth rights and stated that they were trying to swat her, the police wrote in a report obtained by CNBC. So obviously that was their intention, to cause harm because of the recent bill that she proposed, to put into law to make sex change hormones and surgeries for minors a felony. So just going over that briefly. So hopefully you have some more updates on that, and that nothing else happens with that. Hopefully everyone's safe in the Green household. And then here's another story I wanted to go over briefly. International story. It's having to do in the UK and Britain. So obviously they're being affected with energy prices as well. So now Britain starts to turn out the lights. So small restaurants, pubs, butchers, cafes, and shops are all among small businesses forced to close as soaring energy bills begin to bite. So the smaller businesses are being affected because there's not a price cap on the energy there. I guess if you're a residential or a bigger business, there's a cap as the business can't charge as much. But for them, it's saying many businesses pay 20% on their energy bills, so those costs are going to skyrocket. I've heard reports it's like 3 to 4 times the amount of what they were normally paying, and this has to do with the Russia-Ukraine war and the Qatar-Turkey pipeline and the Gazprom pipeline. Gazprom is with Russia, and Qatar-Turkey is the other pipeline that they were trying to build as well. So obviously they're being affected by it more because in Europe they're get more of their energy from those countries. We have our own oil production, so we were affected slightly, but we've kind of recovered a little bit, as you can see by the gas pump prices going down. It's even as low as like $3.50, but most of the countries, I think the average is slightly under $4 from when I checked last week. Some states like New York, Illinois, California are still over $4. So this will be something to monitor moving forward as we get closer to the winter time and when oil and heating prices go up even more. So moving on to the next story, we have an update from the Uvalde shooting here. So obviously, if you're not aware, there was a mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, a number of months ago. So the Uvalde Police Chief, Pete Arredondo, was heavily criticized for this due to his lack of response and the amount of time it took. It took over an hour for them to neutralize the shooter. And was reported as well, he threw away his 2 walkie-talkies. And we still don't know why that's the case he did that, but so the communication thus was all over the place, and that what caused part of the delay in the response to neutralizing the threat. So in subsequent now, Uvalde School Board fires police chief criticized for the shooting response. So I just wanted to cover that briefly. It was from May 24th, so it was a couple months ago was the shooting. So Arredondo did not attend the meeting. Written statement from his attorney, George Hyde, was emailed to board members just before the board met. So kind of chicken, what-ish. He didn't even show up to the own hearing. But just wanted to cover that briefly. Can't say my real opinions on this platform, but I may make a separate video about that when the time comes as to how I feel about the whole Uvalde shooting. But moving forward now, So the final story I'll be covering in this video has to do with Elon Musk and the whole Twitter acquisition and the trial that's going on between Elon and Twitter. So this is from a couple of days ago, back on August 22nd. Elon Musk subpoenas friend and former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey for over the $44 billion acquisition. So he wants to subpoena him so he can get his testimony. Musk legal team is likely seeking support from Dorsey for his argument that the platform has not been truthful about the number of bots and fake accounts. And to follow up on that, there was a story that came out the next day on the 23rd that a whistleblower came out. He was the head of the chief security officer there. Mudge was his nickname, but Pieter Zatko, who's a well-known hacker. He was a hacker about 20 plus years ago. Then obviously worked for the Department of Defense, then for Twitter. So he's a pretty reputable source. Is now blowing the whistle on this whole thing. And his allegations could bolster Elon Musk's bid. So let's see if we can break down. He had claimed one or multiple employees could be working for foreign intelligence, and that a lot of mid to low level employees had access to sensitive data that they should not have, that should have only been for higher ups in the company. And obviously him being the chief security officer, he would have access to that. And also he's alleging, I don't know if this confirmed or not, but he had went to submit a report about this to Parag Agrawal at the time, who was the CEO. And after submitting the report, Agrawal fired him. So a lot to take in there, but just wanted to go over all that. Now Twitter, of course, is responding, saying that it's a false narrative and that it's riddled with inconsistencies. So still more to be unfolded there, but some very interesting developments that could help Elon Musk in his case for the acquisition of Twitter. Whether he wants to buy it or not now, who knows? But he was claiming that the bots were much higher and the spam than Twitter had alleged. I think Twitter alleged it was around 5 or 10%. Now Elon's claiming it's much higher than that, and now we're getting this whistleblower coming out saying that there's a lot of hands in the cookie jar, so to speak. So we'll see what happens with that. The trial is set for October 17th, I believe. Let me see. Yep. Yeah, so back and forth legal wrangling. It's a 5-day trial in Delaware that begins on October 17th. So that's coming up quick, right around midterm season 2. How convenient. So be interesting to see what happens with that. Obviously, as we get closer to that date, I'll keep you guys posted and for any other updates as well. That's going to do it for this video. Would you kindly subscribe to the channel, smash that like button if you enjoyed the content, and share it with your friends. And I'll link all my socials down below. Thank you for watching, and take care.